Good evening and welcome to the Build It Brilliant Blueprint live launch. I'm your host, Gemma Baker from Baker Publishing, and tonight I'll be welcoming author of the Build It Brilliant Blueprint, Zoe Thompson. Please do post us a comment, let us know that you're here. As a little thank you, anybody commenting the word prize will be entered into a prize draw to win an hour one-to-one session with Zoe. So that is entering the competition. You just need to write the word prize and we will draw that at the end of the night. Fantastic. Oh, wow. I'll get on with introducing Zoe while you all join. And I will mention again about the prize draw so that new people get to enter as they join. So you can, of course, officially today buy your very own copy of the Build It Brilliant Blueprint. You should be able to follow a link that is going to be in the comments or in the description shortly, if it's not already, to Amazon, where you can buy the print or ebook version. The ebook will be also available through Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Kobo, and many, many others. So, Zoe, who is Zoe? Zoe has a 15-year career in connecting people and supporting them to grow, learn, and develop. With her experience of building her own private therapy business and a decade building and implementing e-learning for multinational companies, Zoe is passionate about sharing her knowledge with others and helping them to build their very own brilliant business. So, without further ado, please let me welcome the lovely Zoe Thompson. Hey.
Welcome.
I can't tell you how difficult it is to say build it brilliant blueprint after even just a sip of wine. So I feel like this is going to devolve throughout the night. But, you know, I think a glass of wine is well deserved. So congratulations on the book. How does it feel to finally get the work in print?
It feels amazing, kind of scary, kind of excited, equal measures. It wasn't something that I particularly planned, and I just love it when something just happens that you just naturally say, well, of course I'll write a book, of course I'll put this in a book, of course I'll do this, you know, of course I will. And I just kind of went with it and just put it all down in words. So it's really it's a bit strange kind of actually having a copy in your hands and sort of seeing your name on the cover. Feels really good, but yeah, feels a little bit strange.
Yeah, I noticed with the video that you put up of the Amazon delivery and everything, one of the first things you did was rub the book. And it's so weird because that's what I do. As soon as I get a copy, I just start, I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I love the picture that you got from that video. Was just literally my face like, oh my God. I thought that was a brilliant picture, just to encapsulate it.
Sums it up. Did you smell the book though? That's one of the first things I do as well. Some of them smell really, really nice, like fresh print smells really nice. Is it just me?
Yeah, I just sat through it.
So what made you decide to write the book? And I said it kind of happened organically, but where did it start?
So as you said in the intro, I started my journey into, you know, therapy world in 2011. So can't believe it's been that long. I started with £750 in the bank and just literally was like, quit my corporate job. This is what I want to do. You know, you might get this idea from me, but I'm a bit of a get on with it kind of person. So yeah, and really through the years that I've been doing my therapy practice, I came across quite a lot of challenges in terms of just the way in which a lot of marketing and things like that is done, because it just doesn't fit with those kind of caring, helping professions. Like, you know, if you're a counsellor or a psychotherapist, you can't kind of say, buy it now or the price goes up tomorrow kind of stuff. It's, you know, you can't do that. So over the time, I was doing what everyone else does and kind of started off with one-to-one sessions, and then, you know, realized that was a crazy business model. And then I don't know, when I sort of woke up and went, hang on a minute, I was an e-learning specialist for a number of years and had loads of experience with e-learning, and I was sort of, why am I not using that within my business? So I started using that. And then for the last sort of 3 years, I have been helping friends and colleagues, because suddenly they were saying, oh, but you're really good at this. And I guess it's like most things, you don't really realize that that's your thing until other people come along and go, no, that's your thing. That's like a thing. So the Build It Brilliant idea has been sort of in the background really for about 3 years. And then enough people had sort of said, you're really good at this. Will you please just do it? That was like, right, I've really got to, make this a thing. And so I started it last year as an official thing. And then the blueprint came about quite quickly, because it was almost a really simple way of giving somebody a structure to say, okay, you know that there's lots of online technology out there that you can use, but it's just so overwhelming and so daunting. How do we boil that down into something really simple that you can say, okay, if I use this, then I can stop being a busy fool with 26 systems all over the place and trying to create 50 million different things. I can just create these things and know that they're going to be the really good things to do, and just keep doing those. So the blueprint came about quite quickly. And I started doing webinars with it and introducing people to it, but you can only really share so much in a sort of an hour webinar. And I got some really great feedback from the webinars, but then I got loads of questions. So I started thinking, well, this is more than an hour. It's more than a webinar. So how can I sort of share my story a little bit more? How can I share the blueprint a little bit more? How can I kind of give people practical exercises that they can then use? And then it just turned into a book.
I think it's great to have that, like something that you can actually have in your hands as well. So when you walk away from like a webinar or something like that, there's something that you've got there you can hold, that you can pick up and turn back to, and just something that keeps you on track.
Yeah, it seemed like it seemed like it seemed like there was, whilst the blueprint was 4 simple steps and it was easy, I think because each of the steps, people would be like, okay, well, what about this and what about that, and how do I implement that? And they really wanted to take that and then implement it into their business. And the hour just kind of tickled the surface of what it was about, where I think with a book, you can then sit with that book, sit with those exercises, sit with what you're doing and physically implement it. And then you can use that each time. So as it goes on and you build a brilliant business, every time you want to add something that's an online tool or an online course or program or product or whatever, you can say, how does that fit with this blueprint? Where does that fit? And I think that answers a lot of the marketing questions, a lot of the pricing questions, a lot of the sort of, what am I creating? How am I creating it? Why am I creating it? And all of that then means that what you create will actually sell and not be sat on a shelf gathering dust. But I liked it as a book format, because I think then you can, I really want it to be one of the ones that's on the shelf that's so well thumbed through and it's got notes all over it and post-it notes and, something that people really use.
Yeah, I think each chapter really kind of, you can even just kind of flick through each chapter as well and kind of just check back in. I think it really works. Even, once you've read the whole thing, you can just flick through and just remind yourself and refresh. So I think that's really good. And what I liked about it is that it was really sort of like simply structured, but the advice is quite complex in what it's saying, but it says so simply that I think anyone can quite easily follow it. And it's backed up with lots of facts and information as well.
Yeah, the people that have read it through the production of the book, most of them have said they've sort of read it in one sitting, which I think is good, because we are all busy in our businesses. We are all doing 50 million things and trying to make all these happen. So I think what I wanted to create was something that was quite simple, something that was quite quick, that you can kind of, read and then go, oh, right, okay, oh, hang on a minute, I'll do this exercise, I'll get back into it. So I didn't want to create something that was particularly a spend a massive amount of time sitting and absorbing and reading. So
absolutely. We've got quite a lot of commenters tonight. Wow. Lots and lots of people saying congratulations to you for this achievement. Lots and lots of people and lots of prize draw. Or if you've recently joined, if you comment the word prize, you'll be entered into a prize draw to win a 1-to-1 hour session with Zoe. We will draw that at the end of the night. So comment the word prize and you'll be entered into that draw. But yeah, lots and lots of congratulation messages on there. We've also popped a little comment there to Zoe's website where you can order signed copies from Zoe. So please do grab your copy this evening. Fantastic. Oh, it's going so well, Zoe. This is fantastic. What a great response already. You've clearly got a lot of people supporting you. Do you think that's an integral part of sort of building a business, having that kind of support network to call on? And
it's probably one of my biggest learning points, actually, because I've always been quite a strong, independent person, this kind of, you know, get on with it, make it happen kind of person. And I actually think that was one of the problems with my therapy business is I didn't ask enough. I didn't say to people, can you help me, enough, and didn't actually say, oh, I'm struggling with this. Do you know about this? What about that? And as the years have gone on, I've got better and better at doing that. And I think, like, I don't for many years I didn't kind of realize what my network was really. I just was doing my thing. But over, I'd say the last year and a half or so, I think I've started going out to people and saying, okay, what about this? Or can you help me with this? Or what do you think about that? Or, you know, just asking a lot more than I did. And it's amazing, the amazing people that are around and the support people who just like, or comment or support or help or G you up or do all of those things. And it's made such a difference. But I do think there's a point of vulnerability to it. There's a point where you kind of have to say, hang on, like you have to open your mouth and ask.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a big struggle for a lot of people, is just asking for that little bit of help, that little bit of support. And it's strange really, because people want to help, people want to see, you know, you succeed, they want to be able to share their knowledge. And I mean, that's what you're doing, you're helping people. And I think when we try and go it alone, it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah, and I think the overwhelming support has just been fantastic. And I think when you do put yourself out there, it is really scary. But I think what happens is you suddenly go, oh, and all these people say, well done, or congratulations, or thank you everybody that's, you know, contacted me or messaged and said it, because suddenly you realize just how important those people are and how important that network of people is, and probably how big it is, because I think you kind of sometimes get lost in working in this little cocoon in your own little world, especially as a solopreneur. I don't have, you know, people there's just me. So suddenly you realize that there's all these people that are behind you and cheering you on and supporting you, which is great. So thank you very much. And if people have got their own beverages, then please do raise a beverage to yourself as a, you know, thank you.
Absolutely, yes. And let us know that you're here. Quite a few people still entering the prize draw, so that's fantastic. We are also going to be taking questions, so please do drop us a comment if you've got any questions for Zoe. If you're trying to build your own brilliant business, let us know. Share your business in the comments, let us know what you're up to, and tell everybody about it, because I think that can be one of the hardest parts, is promoting yourself.
Yeah, it'd be a great opportunity to kind of hear what you're doing, what you're up to. And yeah, if you've got any questions at all about, you know, taking your business online, or, you know, how do you get started, or even about writing a book, just ask. And yeah, it'd be nice to get some questions and be able to answer them for people.
Absolutely. So why did you choose the self-publishing route?
For me, it was timescale more than any decision, really. So I have a few things coming up in my calendar, and I thought, oh, I really just would love to kind of have that. And I think as well with the whole COVID and pandemic, it was sort of, it was very relevant for now. And I just thought, I can't wait the length of time for publishing deals, because people are in a pandemic now, and in terms of the impact that it's had on the helping professions, most of us work one-to-one, face-to-face, and all of that is stopped. So, there's people out there that's businesses have literally just stopped overnight. And the online world has great opportunities, and a lot of people have been looking at, can I see clients online? Can I create some kind of income from online? And I just thought, this book needs to be in their hands. I just can't sit on this and just kind of have the time it takes for publishing deals to come about.
Absolutely. I think, like say, the kind of, we're all busy, and for me personally, submitting manuscripts to multiple publishers, for me, to be honest, I get a bit bored. I'm a bit like you. I just want to get something done. I want to do it now. I want to get it done.
I want to get it out there.
It's really lovely working with you, because you can see how motivated you are, and you've quite a joy to work with you, because it's just very, very simply laid out. We've managed to get there fairly simply, I think, and you've done so much work on the manuscript itself that you'd done the hard work really before I even got involved, so it made my life a lot easier.
I think even a self-publishing journey, just having you there has just been amazing, because I just had this Word document and was just like, what do I do with this? Gemma, make it a book. So it's one of those things that's like finding people who can help you along the way, and just kind of going, okay, and that to me has meant that I've been able to continue with things like my Ask Me Anything videos, and kind of I want to create a membership, so I've been busy kind of creating that, and I couldn't have done that if I was messing around trying to figure out how to self-publish a book. So it's been
recently updated your website as well, so you've been just constantly on it.
yeah so I've updated the website, I've built the membership in the background, I've been doing my AMA videos, been doing some PR stuff, some media stuff, and some podcasting, and and that's the thing is on top of all of that, to start going, okay, I'm going to learn how all this works. It's just not, it wasn't going to be possible.
There's only so much you can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think I was a bit naive. I mean, this is the first time I've written a book and got into it, but I think I was a bit naive in terms of what goes into it, and I think working with you has just highlighted how much of the things go into creating it, making it look great, getting it all ready, and all of that, and that I could have tried, but I don't think it would have been anywhere near what it is if I'd have done it. So thank you very much.
You are more than welcome. And I mean, so it's interesting because I know you talk a lot about work-life balance. You mentioned that in a book, and my friend's recently just started freelancing and is really struggling to schedule. I mean, even I, after years of working for myself, scheduling that time where it's work time, it's free time, and putting that boundary down so that you don't get to burnout levels.
Yeah.
How do you go about that?
I think the world of online technology has now moved to such a point that there's such an opportunity to harness your expertise in ways that can make you money without you having to physically do everything. And whether that means some of your knowledge gets put into some kind of resource that people can buy, or whether it's from a, you know, marketing and easing of processes point of view, I think that there's so many opportunities now to kind of simplify things, but and then make sure that you're making money, even though it's not just you all the time being in the business, being the one that made money. And I did it. So I got to a point where my one-to-one sessions, there weren't enough hours in the week to do all the things and see all the people. And there's only one of me. So I think it's kind of working smarter, not harder. And then not filling the gap. I think one of the kind of things that people do is they make their life simpler, but then they just fill the gap with other stuff, instead of thinking, what would I actually like to spend that time doing? And do some stuff that you really enjoy.
Yeah, that's it, forgetting to actually have fun.
Yeah, so you kind of create, the first step is creating your business in a way that really works for you, and you're working smarter, not harder. But then in the free time that frees up, realizing you can go for a walk in the middle of the day, or you can go and do that trip that you really wanted to do. And there's almost like a permission piece, because I think you get into the habit of just working so hard and thinking that in order to be successful, you've got to like really, really, as the word hustle or whatever they call it, which I don't like. Where, you know, for me, it's about being smart with what you're doing and what you're creating, so that you can create money, rather than running around like a headless chicken thinking that you have to do all the work and you have to work harder. So yeah, but it's certainly been something that I've learned over the years, you know, and that's something that I also wanted to kind of share in the book, was around sharing what I've learned along the way, so that the people that are reading it don't have to fall into the same traps and don't have to make the mistakes that I did. So yeah, but from the years of working in the helping professions, I think what I've learned is most people that work in those kinds of roles, whether it be like I say, psychotherapists, counsellors, hypnotherapists, physiotherapists, osteopaths, all those kind of yoga teachers, all those kind of people, most of the time we are really people pleasing people. We want to help, we want to do our best, we want to get out there and make a difference in the world. That's why we do the professions that we do, but unfortunately that kind of personality leads us sometimes to over promising, over delivering, over putting ourselves out there, which I think is one of the kind of leading causes of burnout. And one of the facts that I'd put in the book was sort of, I was at I forgot what it was now, but it's like a conference, and one of the guys said that 3 out of 5 therapy businesses fail, and burnout is stated as one of the biggest you know, factors of that. And I think that to me is not good enough, because we're the people that are going to make a difference in the world. The world is suffering from pandemics of stress and anxiety and chronic pain and all these kinds of things, and really struggling. And the people in the professions that are going to make that difference are struggling, burning out, and can't make their business work. So, you know, for me, that's the reason why Build It Brilliant is so important to me, and I'm so passionate about it, is because, you know, that to me is I want to help those people to build sustainable businesses. That means that they can have work-life balance, they can have a freedom, they can make that business work for them, and therefore we can all, you know, stick around longer and help more people. So you know, I think one side of it, we were talking about work-life balance, I think one side of it is actually building a business that allows you to have a work-life balance, and I think the other side of it is giving yourself permission to have a work-life balance. You know, you don't have to help everyone and, you know, be putting it out all the time. So yeah, so thank you for everybody that is here with me and joined me. It means a lot, and thank you so much. And I hope you've all got your beverage and you can join me in a little celebration. Thank you very much. And enjoy. And I think that's another thing that we don't do a lot, is we don't celebrate our successes a lot. We don't shout about them. And it doesn't matter how big that success is. So whether it is, a small success that you've done, or whether it's something that you're really proud of that you've done, I don't think it really matters. But we don't celebrate our successes enough. We're often striving for whatever the next thing is that we want to achieve, whatever the next thing is on the plan of what you want to do and how you want to do it. And we often don't kind of give ourselves a chance to stop and say, oh, hang on a minute, we've been doing some really good stuff, and kind of celebrate what we've been doing. I'm going to just log into the old book of faces and see. Let me just make it. I'm going to just so Gemma's just having some internet problems, so I'm going to have a look. Let me just mute the volume somehow. Oh. Can't mute it. So let me look into the comments. Gemma seems to be having internet problems, so let me look in. This is a great thing about lives. I think this is a lesson in itself, for people when you're talking about online technology, is things happen. And so many people get so flustered when things happen or change or don't work the way that they want to do. And I think the more that you can relax and just go with the flow. If technology doesn't work, just make it happen. Do something else. It's fine. It's technology. It's what we do. I'm in. Okay. So many of you. Hello. Only quite here. I'm just reading some of your comments. If you've got any questions, pop them in, and I'm more than happy. Graham, I'm multitasking as we speak. So thank you for that. So many thank yous and so many congratulations. You're all wonderful. So thank you very much for those. Do you know where I found it for taking the content online? Yeah, Gemma, I think that's a really interesting comment about people with disabilities and accessing online. I think they're getting better. They're not great at it just yet. I think things are getting better in terms of giving access to people with all sorts of different abilities. But I think dexterity, my advice would be boil it down into small chunks. So I think sometimes you're just trying to do too much at once. So you can have really simple pieces of technology that can do things for you. But I think people overcomplicate it. So they have too much technology doing too much stuff. There's quite a lot now with text to speak options. I'm sure you've got some of those already, but they're quite a great option that you can dictate onto things and then just load them up as resources. So for example, you could do a whole book by dictation. I know you've got a book coming out as well, Gemma, so tell me if that's something that you did for your book. But there are some good options out there. Yes, you can absolutely do it. I think it's just about making it simpler so that you're doing smaller tasks and using fewer technologies so that you're not kind of using so much so often if dexterity is something that you struggle with. Iraly's put, have another sip of wine. Okay. I hope you are too. And why not take this opportunity? Because one of the things I was talking about celebrating your successes, and do that a little bit more. So take an opportunity to grab your glass and celebrate something that you've done. And don't compare yourself to others. That's something as well that I've included in the book. Because so often we kind of get put off. And I think, Gemma, it was something that you were kind of putting on the Build It Brilliant Facebook page the other day about... I think it was something PR related that I was doing, and you were sort of feeling a little bit overwhelmed with it. And I think that's something that we all do, is we just get so caught up into the complexities of what we need to do that we kind of forget that our journey is our journey. And if we just focus on what we need to do and forget about everyone else, then it becomes a whole lot easier. So don't get put off by comparing yourself with so many other people that then you don't end up doing the book, or you don't end up creating the course, or you don't end up doing it, what it is that you want to put out in the world, because it's scary, or you don't do it. You know, less of the comparison, more on the focus on your journey and your customer and what it is that you want to put out there. Caroline, and helping people build their businesses, what is their biggest hurdle? Is it content they include, or technology and how to use it? The biggest hurdle is their strategy. They don't spend any time whatsoever on the strategy, which is where the blueprint comes in, because they then go into, so a lot of people ask me questions like, should I create a membership or a course? And I would say, hang on, like, why are we creating this? Who is it for? Where does it fit? You know, all the strategy questions, because I think once you've got the strategy in place, then all those questions get answered. And that's the biggest mistake people do, is they kind of launch into the technology but there's so many different options, and they start saying, well, do I create it on here, or do I create it on there, or do I need this technology or that technology? And I'm a bit like, hang on, we haven't even thought about who's this for, what shape it's going to be, you know, what else is in the market, you know, all these kind of questions that help you to create the strategy. Because once you've got your strategy in place, then the actual technology is kind of the easy bit, really, because then that becomes obvious in terms of, right, I need a piece of technology that does this, and that's what you need, rather than kind of creating all this stuff that you don't necessarily need. And then you end up with 50 million pieces of technology doing 26 million different things, and you get really overwhelmed with it, or you get procrastinating and you don't do any of it because you know, you kind of get blinded by all the options, so you just end up doing nothing. So yeah, so in answer to your question, I think the biggest hurdle is the blueprint, which is exactly why I wrote it in a book, is because that is the thing that people need to spend their time understanding, because then all the other stuff becomes super simple. Laura, hi Laura. Where do you get your energy to do all this stuff? I eat well, exercise well. I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't feel like I do work. I don't feel like I have a job and I have work. I just kind of really enjoy what I do, and I enjoy sharing it and helping people and getting out there and all of that. So for me, that's where my energy comes from. I think you get drained of energy when you're not interested or passionate about what it is that you're doing. So yeah, so I think kind of purpose comes into it a lot, and I certainly feel that I really enjoy what I do. I love it, and I'm more than happy. What's your next project? Hi, Nicola. Officially an author. That sounds really, really weird. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but for now it sounds a bit strange. So what's my next project? Membership. That's the next project, because I want to give people kind of the ongoing support. So the blueprint, when I was doing it as the webinars, so many. Ellie, hello. Great question there about ideas to switch off. I think it's really hard when quite a lot of people are working from home now, and I think that the home has become the office, and there's no kind of separation between the two. So you're busy kind of working online, stuck at home, stuck in the office, and then there's no kind of break in between work and office. So one of the things that I've been recommending people to do is to somehow create that break between the two, whether it's that you go out for a walk after you have been at your desk before you then go into your family life in the evening, or whether it's just that you do a 5 minutes of, breathing or meditation or something, but anything, just to say, this is my work done. And then I go into my world. I think that I certainly had it when I used to work from home, the walls close in and your whole world happens in that same space. So I think it is a problem with a lot of people because their world just all happens in that same space. So whatever kind of break that you can do in between is really good. So hopefully, yes. And it doesn't really matter what you do, whether it's a little bit of exercise or a bit of meditation or a walk or something like that, but it doesn't really matter what you do. I think it's just telling your brain work has ended and now life begins. And I think it's difficult as well. It's more a case of mindset, I think, as well, and giving yourself permission to kind of switch your brain off from work, because so many times it's not you physically being sat at a desk, but it's actually mentally you're sort of, cooking your tea or whatever, and you've still got all these thoughts going on in your head. So there's a mindset piece to it, I think, about mentally switching off from it. So yeah. Okay. What sort of businesses do you find seeking advice? Any poets or authors venturing your way? No, not at the minute, because I'm a health professional. So the people that are coming to me and the people that want my help are all the people that are in those kind of helping professions, because that's what I am and that's what I've done for so many years. But I don't think the advice is exclusive to those. It's just that the language that I use is all geared towards that audience. So if you are more than happy to kind of, ignore the language in that, and, the advice is exactly the same. It's just that that's who my audience is. That's who I talk to. But yeah, I think the advice is exactly the same. So I guess, do I think that the Build It Brilliant Blueprint book would be any good for poets and authors? Yes, I think the blueprint works for those industries as much as it does for the helping industries. I think it's just, obviously, the book, the way that I've written it, is helping professions language, but you can still take the advice and implement it. And all the exercises would be exactly the same. Liz, bless you. There's so many people. So for those that have never met me before, and don't know who I am or what I'm doing and stuff like that, then I built myself a studio office out of pallets. So Liz has put, your next book could be how to build a refresh shed. There's so many people that have asked me for the plans for my refresh shed office, and there wasn't any plans. I literally it was like adult Meccano, and we just kind of built it as we went along. So yeah, so there wasn't any plans, but yeah, I could do a book on that, I guess. So many people saying about celebrating success, and I think that is a really important one, because it's your success, and I think it does matter that you celebrate your success from where you are. There's one of the other things, and the reason that I kind of got into the blueprint book was because, I don't know about you, but I'm getting really annoyed with adverts that are sort of, you can build a 7-figure business within 6 weeks or something, and I get really annoyed with them, because there's so much kind of social media, Instagram, perfect world pressure, that then the reality of the journey becomes not something that people talk about. And I want to talk about the reality. Building a business takes time, and it takes dedication, and it takes effort. And there are a million times that I've wanted to pack it in and get a job. And I think that this kind of idea that you sort of, create a Facebook group and then all of a sudden you have these thousands of people that follow you, it's just not true in so many cases. And I think there's this kind of idea with the messaging that goes out that everybody's looking for this shiny object syndrome, this kind of one answer that's going to, aha, thing that's going to make you a millionaire. And that is just not the reality for about, 95% of the business. And for me, the way that I want Build It Brilliant to work is, I want us to be honest. I want to support each other every step of the way. I want people to come and say, this is hard and I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? Or, I'm not having a great day, because those successes that you have deserve celebrating, because they're your success, because you did something that you're really proud of. And everyone else might turn around and go, oh yeah, you just kind of, you did a Facebook Live. But for you, that might be, I did a Facebook Live. Like, I actually went live and did that. And that's an amazing achievement, an amazing thing. And it takes you to step out of your comfort zone and do those things. And for me, I Build It Brilliant, I want to be a place where we build a place where you can be honest and you can get the support and the confidence and grow as your business grows, and we can do it well together. You can work smarter, not harder, but you can also be honest that it does take time. If you decide that you are going to do a video thing, for example, you're not going to do 5 videos and then suddenly have a YouTube following of 26 million people. Like, that's just not reality. It's not how it works. You're going to have to go through that time of putting the videos out and keeping doing those things when you have very little watchers, very little views, and it's disheartening. And that it makes you start thinking that you're doing something wrong, or that the approach that you're taking is wrong. And that isn't always the case. Sometimes it's not what you're doing that's wrong. It's the fact that you haven't given yourself time for that to build and for that to get better. So we need to kind of give that, we need to be able to support people and give them confidence so that they can keep doing those things and keep growing and keep getting better. Like, if you watched some of my first videos, they are terrible. They're appalling. And, you only get better by doing it. And how are you going to do it if every time you do it you think, oh God, I didn't do this right, or I pulled myself apart about that, or that was horrendous, I didn't do that, I didn't say this, I and ahed all the time, and all these kinds of things. We need to be able to have a go at things and be able to get better and learn. And that's part of the book, the Build It Brilliant book as well. It's about this kind of reality and genuineness to what it takes to build a brilliant business. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you're anything like me, I have comparison paralysis. I'm sort of terrible at comparing myself to all these different people. But then when you actually look at it, you realize that those people have been in business for 20 years or 10 years, and you look at their success and you're like, oh my God, but they've got all of this, they're amazing, and this is fantastic. I'm never going to be able to do that, or there's no point me trying because I'm not as good as they are. You think, whoa, hang on a minute, they've been building an audience for 10 years. They've been doing all of this stuff for so long. You can't start and think that you're going to be the same as somebody that's been doing it for 10 years. So I'm just refreshing this because I know we've been streaming and then we've sort of had a little bit of a blip. So just checking comments and things like that and refreshing as we go along. So I'm glad you're agreeing. It does take time to build, it takes longer, absolutely. And you need to kind of celebrate those successes as you go along, because that's you trying these things and learning as you're going. And I think for so long, I just gave myself such a hard time all the time for every little thing, because everything wasn't great and Instagram perfect. And I've changed that over the last maybe 2 years or so, going, hang on a minute, if you're going to build a brilliant business and you're the only person in that business, then you're going to have to big yourself up because you're the only person that's going to say something nice about you. You're the only person that's going to motivate you. You're the only person that's going to kind of give you that confidence. So start where you are, and then just, take small steps, and you'd be amazed at what you can do. I never thought I'd write a book. Well, I kind of thought I had a book in me, but the actual process of writing a book was quite daunting. And I kind of kept putting it off and thinking, I can't write a book. But then when you actually think, do you know what? The one thing that I did was say, right, I'm going to book 2 days away. Luckily, my mum and dad have a motorhome. They said I could borrow it. I went to a campsite, just me in the motorhome, and I was like, right, you're going to sit your backside down with a piece of paper and you're just going to write. And, it's that kind of getting over the hurdle of getting started, I think. And then once I started, I was like, oh, actually, I could say this, or this starts there, or, and before you know it, you've got a book and you're sitting on a live telling people that you've got a book. So I think everything starts with a little bit of nervousness and a little bit of fear. And yay, Julie, well done. Yes, you are a good poet, and start where you are, and you can absolutely do this. Love it. In the process of getting out there, just reading your comment. Congratulations on working with your first book, Julie, and I wish you all the best with it. Keep going with it. There's a point in any project, whether that was building the shed, whether that was writing the book, whether that was doing videos and going live, no matter what project I've undertaken, there's a point in every single project where you're too far in to give up, but not enough towards the end. And it's kind of this, drudgery bit of any project that you think, oh God, why did I do this? And it comes with any project. You kind of start off with excitement, you go through the project, you get into it, and then you get to a point where you think, oh God, you're running out of energy, you're running out of passion, you're frustrated with the whole thing, but you can't give up because you're too far in. And it's that point, I think, that there's this moment of digging deep. There's this moment of going, right, take a breath, sit back, kind of think, right, I don't know where it comes from. Just a bit of a gung-ho, I think, kind of mentality, that final push just to get you through to the end. And then when you've got to the end, there's almost this rejoicing and this pride and this achievement to it. So, but there's a point in every single project that you think, oh God, I'm tired. I don't want to give up. Lindsay, I'd love to know what your book would be about. I've kind of known that I wanted to write a book. I've always felt I'm a big reader. I read quite a lot. I've always loved to think I would one day write a book, but always thought one day. And there wasn't really a frame of what I'd write a book about until last year when I launched Build It Brilliant, and then I started talking about the blueprint to people. It just kind of felt obvious that it was a book. So sometimes I think that there's a timing element about writing a book. You get an idea that you think would really work, and that's the thing that creates your book. So maybe it's a timing thing, or maybe it's a confidence thing. And I think if it's a confidence thing, you just have to grab some, if you're like me and you like good old paper and a pen, or grab your laptop up if you're a typey person. And I think you just have to get it out of you. I think you just have to kind of go have that freedom to be able to just talk. What I originally wrote on the pages is not very much like what is actually written in the book. It takes quite a while, I think, to format that original idea, those original words, into something that is ordered and simple and easy for people to follow and has everything in it. Like that takes quite a few refinements and quite a few times of reading it through. So I think if you looked at if you looked at a book and sort of said, oh God, but this is so ordered and so, you know, so greatly written, that could make you think, oh God, mine's not gonna start like that. Well, mine didn't either. Mine started as a whole bunch of ideas and a whole bunch of jumbledness and you know, and kind of just words on a page. And then eventually I refined it, reordered it, structured it, and refined it again, then let a couple of people read it, then refined it again, and then Gemma and me looked at it and we refined it again. So don't look at the output of a book and think, oh God, I can't write like that, because that was not at all what it starts out like. I think it starts out as, you know, just get your thoughts out on a page kind of thing. Fab, Julie. Gemma will really help you along that process. Oh, Lindsay, they both sound really good. They both sound really good books. Yeah, just go and be creative and go and enjoy it and see what happens. Yeah, I do think that there's something about holding a physical book in your hand and being able to read it and reread it and refer back to it and, you know, get everything out of it. So I do think there's a real benefit, even if you talk about your ideas a lot, even if you talk about your strategies or the way that you help people, or you recite your poetry a lot and things like that. I still think there's value in putting that down in a physical pages book, because it reaches different people, B, because there's just something about sitting down and having that in a format that's a book. So I think that's a good point as well. As so many people in the online stuff, whether it be marketing or whether it be kind of courses and things like that, they put something out once and they say, but I've already done that. So whether it's a video, so say you've got you want to talk about mindfulness, I don't know, I'm just picking a topic off the top of my head, mindfulness, and you say, oh, but I've already done a blog about mindfulness, and they think, well, what else would I do? And I think that's one of the biggest myths about the online world. Just because you've written a blog doesn't mean that you couldn't do a video, a book, a course, consultancy. You couldn't put a post out every week on your social medias about mindfulness. Just because you've put an idea once doesn't mean that everybody's seen it. And I did an AMA video about this, about Facebook posts, because just because you've put it on Facebook post once does not mean that you've kind of job done and then you can't talk about it again. And the reason for that is I think it's about 2% of people who say it's a business page, about 2% from a business page will actually see your post. So you can post about something 3 times a week and different people will see it. And there's also an element of people being really busy and they will see that message when they're ready, or, you know, they will see the message at a certain time. So there is a point with your online things about working smarter, not harder, and not talking about 26 different things, but talking about one thing and doing it in lots of different places or lots of different times. So that is a point I make in the book as well. Anyway, we're getting up to sort of 26 minutes past. So what I'm going to do is, doesn't look like Gemma's been able to get back with us, which is a shame, but I will do prize draw. What I will do is I will have a look at all the people that have said, have entered. And then I think I've still got Connor with me, who's doing some tech stuff in the background. So Connor, if you're still here on the chat, let me know. Fab stuff. So Connor can pick a number instead of me. Let me see who we got. So if you do want to enter the prize draw and you haven't yet, just comment prize, but do it pretty quickly because I'm looking at it now. So yeah, so if you want an hour with me to talk about your business, and you can talk about anything that you like in terms of online stuff, tech stuff, mindset stuff, confidence stuff, I will absolutely spend an hour with you and help you with whatever you like. So text prize in the comments if that's what you would like to do. And I will just run through see who we've got, and then Connor can pick a number. Somebody that can win. Okay. Let me see how many people we have got. There's so many comments. Thank you, everybody. They've been so lovely to chat. And what I might have to do is I might have to do it after the live. So what I'm going to do is, because I can't see all of the comments, so what I'm going to do is after the live, I will post on the comments as who has won, because I don't think I can see all of the comments. Unless Connor can see them all and tell me how many people we've got. And if not, I will reply back to you on the comments and let you know who has won, because I don't think it's fair for me to say somebody's won and then when I can't see all of the comments. So what I'm going to do, and again, another tip for you, make things happen. We have to go with the flow. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, after the live's ended, I will go through all of the comments. I'll work out everybody that's picked the prize. And since Gemma's not been here, I'll ask, I'll get in touch with Gemma and say, pick a number, and we will comment back on here and let the person know who has won. I've got 1 hour. So I'll let you know who's won after the live. Thank you all for joining me so much and for being part of this and putting your comments. It's been brilliant. Cheers. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you for your support, for your comments, for getting involved. The links to get the book are all there. You can go to the website and get an author copy if you would like, and I will sign you and send it to you. And then we shall announce who's won the prize on here as well. So enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. Go and grab your copy of the Build a Brilliant Blueprint book. I have it in my hands, still stroking it. And thank you very much. Good night, God bless, and take care.